Hi guys, so from day one, hopefully you now got a good understanding of where you are now, what you're perhaps putting up with on a daily basis and what you'd like to do more of. Today is about how to change your habits. I'm going to pick out some strategies that I know of and make changes to your life, because if you want to make changes, you're more than likely going to have to change or update some of your habits. It can feel quite overwhelming because they've built up over a long period of time. They're pretty set, a lot of them, and a lot of them are subconscious. But it's surprising, really. I mean, once you understand a bit more about the mechanics of it, it's actually a lot easier than you think to change your habits, and that alongside a decent amount of motivation. Then it should be pretty easy to do. Your brain is constantly looking for these like small rewards throughout the day. It's like the positive feelings that you get from doing the various different habits, and they usually evoke like a thought or an action, but you're pretty much innately lazy. You're looking for like the maximum reward for the minimal effort, so it usually tends to impact your health or your time. I don't think you need me to explain much more about that. You can figure that out, but there's two strategies I want to run through with you, which are actually from Atomic Habits. If you've read the book, then great. This will be a nice reminder for you. There is so much to take in that book. I could have done like 10-15 minutes just on that book and some of the strategies. So I would recommend reading it if you haven't already. The first one is, I'm going to drop an image after this, so you can see the habit loop to give you a visual on it. It's fascinating. It's obvious when you think about it, but when you put it in the loop, it makes perfect sense. So a habit usually starts with a cue. So it's something that's going to get your attention, like a notification from your phone. Your craving then is to that feeling you get, that sort of dopamine hit, knowing that you've got a notification. The response is you naturally pick up your phone, and then the reward is that you're up to date. You got your hit. You're up to date with your notifications, and you're much more likely to do the habit because you get that reward constantly, and it's dead easy to do. So if you're developing a new habit, you want to make it obvious. That's the first thing. You want the cue to include some colour or some sound, something that's really going to grab your attention. You want the craving to be attractive, you want it to be really appealing to you. You want the response to be dead easy, so you can just pick it up or start it straight away. And you want the reward to be really satisfying so that you're more likely to repeat it. If you're trying to reduce the chances of a habit happening, or you want to sort of stamp out a bad habit, you just reverse that process. So you make the cue out of sight, out of mind. If you're not going to see it, you're going to be a lot less likely to do it. You want the craving to be less attractive because you've switched your mindset and you're now aware of the damaging effects of that habit, so the craving should reduce. You want your response to be difficult, so you want it to be out of reach, out far away, for you to be able to actually do that habit. Almost put barriers in place, either physical or emotional barriers, so that you have to take a couple of steps, or you have to move something to get to something else, and make it difficult. And then the reward is by nature going to be less satisfying, and if it's less satisfying, you're less likely to do it. So that's the principle of the habit loop. Habit stacking is a good one. So it's about introducing a really small new habit after an existing one. So the example of maybe putting the kids to bed and then go downstairs, and instead of your normal habit putting the TV on, your new habit would be put the laptop on the table. So the laptop being on the table is not the whole of the new habit, it's just the start of it. So you make it really short, dead easy to do, but the ultimate goal is to actually sit down and spend 45 minutes on the laptop doing some research or working towards something. So the habit is just going to be the next step after your existing one. So that's habit stacking. And you can put a reward at the end of it. So you can say, great, after I've done 45 minutes, I will watch The Last Dance on Netflix. So yeah, you can set a reward for yourself or equally set a punishment if you don't do it. So that's habit stacking. So yeah, there are just a few things I wanted to pick out from Atomic Habits, but you can have a look at that in a bit more detail yourself. Today, I want you to sort of think about what you need to do more or less of relating to your habits and your daily activities that are happening, and what you're going to benefit from any sacrifices that you make. And this is sort of really around this self-care time. So if you can dedicate 45 minutes to yourself every day, and now self-care is a loose term, you can do whatever you want with it. You can go for a walk, do exercise, start a side hustle, research something, do some reading, or whatever you want to do. But having that time to dedicate to yourself, and again from personal experience, it has a huge impact on you. For me, it really increased my feeling of identity, really, that I was still me. I was still had my own aspirations, still my own direction, and I wasn't just a dad. And everything absolutely 100% was on the family, because even if you're working on the things for yourself, they're still benefiting the family, not only because of your mood and your attitude around them, but the kids will copy you as well. So if you're developing more good habits, then the kids are going to start copying those as they try and figure out the world. So it all has a really positive impact. So write down a plan for yourself as to when you're going to dedicate that time to yourself every day for the next 7 days. And really importantly, is make sure you run it by your partner and make sure they have their own 45 minutes as well, so everything is fair, and they will feel a big impact from that. It's look at some of the strategies there with the habit loop, the habit stacking, see what you can introduce and see where you can take your habits as well. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I'll look forward to speaking to you tomorrow.